Hello everyone, it is time to discuss my 2025 writing goals. Now, I'll be honest, the start of 2025 has not gone quite the way that I anticipated. I usually like to have time at the end of December to just sit and reflect and journal and think and whatnot, and December was just so busy. All good things, loved it, had a great winter break. It was good. But because it was so busy, I have not had that time. I anticipated this video to be so well thought out, to have timelines in place, but it's not. And I am making it because I knew that if I did not make it, I would just keep procrastinating, and who knows? Who knows? So I am making this video. It feels a little haphazard, but this is where I'm at. I am really excited for 2025 and for my writing for 2025. I have set some goals for myself and they're big for me. They're kind of scary, but I am really excited for these steps. Okay, so my big overarching goal is by the end of this year, 2025, to be ready to publish the book that I'm working on right now. So that's super exciting. That's my big goal by the end of the year. What are all the other steps that need to happen before that? To walk backwards, see the steps, and break it down into smaller chunks. So in November, I finished my first read through of my manuscript and my first markup. My original goal was to actually start doing the writing editing part in November and December. That did not happen. So all of my next steps. The next thing I need to do is my scene cards, which I, again, talked about in November. Still haven't done that, but hopefully I can soon. But that is my next step. I'm gonna go through my manuscript and get index cards and write down every scene and every scene that is missing so that I can start to physically move and rearrange and lay out my plot and figure out what scenes are missing. If I know already what scenes need to go in, to put those on index cards and put them into the timeline, or I can visually see where I still have holes that need to have scenes added. Then I am going to do round one of the rewrites, where I will have my manuscript that I've marked up alongside my Word document and write, edit, add, all of those things. Then I'm gonna go through round two of reading through my manuscript and marking it up, round two of rewrites, and then I will have some beta readers. This scares me. But it needs to happen. I've started thinking about like what specific things I want my beta readers to look for, specific questions that I want to ask, things like that. And I will do more research and figuring that out as I go to see what specific things that I want to be looking for from my beta readers, and also just general feedback of the story. Yeah, that feels big to me. And then round three of rewrites based on the beta reader feedback. So as of now, those are my goals. I've almost finished reading the book, The 12-Week Year for Writers, and I have very mixed thoughts thus far. I think that there are some great takeaways and great pieces of that. I don't know that the system itself will work fully for me. I'm still trying to put my finger on why. The author definitely thinks that this method is the best method and that you need to just commit and you need to do it and this is how you're going to succeed. And I readily admit that that just kind of is making me not want to do it, because if anybody says this is the way to do it, I kind of don't love that. So part of it is a me thing. Part of it is, I think, just the way that my brain works, but I also really want to sit with it and make sure that I'm not discounting it because I've never done it in the past, so I feel like I can't do it. Is it because it's so much more structured than I've ever done, so it feels like something I can't do, or is it something that I actually don't think will work for me? And I think it is this part, but I just kind of want to sit with that a little bit more and make sure I'm not discounting something that could actually be helpful. But there are a lot of pieces that are helpful, and in particular, breaking things down into smaller chunks, i.e. the whole concept of a 12-week year instead of a 12-month year, and giving yourself deadlines. I think that that will be really helpful, because if I keep just saying, oh, my next step is these scene cards, I don't know when I'll get to it. My plan was genuinely to do it this week, but then I was not feeling well, and then one of my kids got sick, and which is another thing from the 12-week year for writers. The method seems like it'll work really well for people who tend to have generally set schedules. It seems like it'll work very well for people who don't often have a lot of moving parts to their schedules. Like, I know I have lots of pockets of time that I could be filling with writing that A, I either don't realize that I have, or B, I have not been self-motivated enough to take advantage of those pockets of time. So again, I feel like there are really good concepts that will be beneficial to me. I just need to figure out how to implement them. But back to the scene cards, it's not gonna happen this week, and maybe this weekend, but I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna give myself a deadline that it needs to be done. And if that means that if we're still sick and then my deadline's coming up, then I'm gonna have to be staying up until 10 or 11, which generally does not work well for my brain, but I want to be giving myself deadlines. So deadlines that allow wiggle room if we're sick or things like that, but also deadlines that is the deadline. Deadlines that is, I said that. Deadlines that are a deadline. So other general goals and ideas that I still need to figure out how to implement. I would love to go to a place, somewhere, coffee shop, someplace, once a week to write. And I have said that before, and I have yet to do it with any sort of regularity. When I have done that, I have been able to focus so much better. I have been able to knock out a lot of work. And every time I think to myself, I need to do this next week. I need to do this every week. And I haven't. If I can schedule that for myself, that would be really helpful. It's a little tricky because I don't always work the same days and hours with my job. But if I can figure out how to schedule that in, I will, because that I think would be very helpful for my process. I also want to write some short stories this year. I think it will be good for my creativity to break up having so much mental thought towards this one big project, the novel that I'm working on right now, to also just take some time to just kind of sit down and write for fun or write something short. I would love to enter some more writing contests. There's actually a writing contest right now that I am trying to complete a short story for. It was announced, and then I think there were 3 weeks from the time of announcement to enter with the early bird discount, and I think 5 weeks from the time of announcement to enter with the full price. And I was like, oh, well, I can't write a story that quickly. And then I was like, wait a second, everybody's in the same boat. That's one of the goals of this contest, is it's not supposed to be this years long or drawn out perfected piece. We all have 3 to 5 weeks to write a short story and submit it. So I think it'll be really good to let go of my perfectionism and to have more experience entering a contest and writing a short story. So I am a third of the way through my story, and I need to sit down with that some more this week and finalize that, because I would love to get the early bird discount. We'll see. I have one week left to do that. So I'm hoping to find some other contests throughout the year, not like a ton, but just a couple throughout the year that I can enter. I also want to figure out a way to celebrate my wins, because I don't usually take the time to do that. And I'm trying to figure out what that would look like. I was thinking about doing a spin the wheel online to randomly generate what my prize could be for whatever step it is. If it's for finishing my scene cards, or for when I send my manuscript to some beta readers, that'll definitely need a celebration. Just taking the time to celebrate. If you do this for your writing or for any goals or for anything, I would love some ideas for things that you do to celebrate. I know what my ultimate prize is. I've already said when I publish my first book, I am buying a typewriter. I have always wanted a typewriter, so that is my ultimate prize. And I've thought about some smaller prizes / motivation, and I don't know. I feel like I haven't hit on anything that feels motivating to me. So I need to think about what that is. But then I'm like, is it just because I feel guilty celebrating my small wins? Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, it needs to be a bigger win, because that's a conversation I need to have to myself. Anyways, I would love some ideas. How do you celebrate your wins, big or small? So there are my goals that still need some ironing out, but my general goals for 2025. I am very excited. I really feel like the last few years I have gotten a lot of momentum in my writing, and bringing back the passion for writing and the excitement and the vision, because for years I didn't let myself dream. And so getting back into that is very exciting and very scary, but I am here for it, and I look forward to all the steps along the way. So until next time, happy writing.